My devotional message today is from Matthew chapter 8, verses 23 through 27. It talks about Jesus calming the storm. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown." He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." Now, one afternoon, I noticed a storm approaching. The sky was really dark, black. Lightning and rains came, and it just poured. It was so dark that I had to turn the lights on in the building, even though it was mid-afternoon. I was thankful to be in the building so I could watch the storm, and I actually appreciated the show. When it was over, the sun peeked out, and the first thing I saw was a rainbow. So not only had God protected us during a storm, he provided something of beauty to show what he wants for us. If you look at other scripture passages, it talks about storms or metaphors to storms to emphasize the fury and might that they possess. In this case, this storm takes place on the Sea of Galilee, which is far below sea level. It's about 680 feet. The sea itself is roughly 150 feet deep. It's surrounded by hills and ravines. Storms can strike suddenly in great force. Sea waves could be as high as 20 feet. And the boat they were in was a small fishing boat, which made it even worse. Now, the Greeks had stories of their gods or special people. And they were legends from a distant past that were supposed to have control over nature. But there were no reports within their living memory, except those that would be in the gospel. For those who knew the scriptures, the one and only power over the winds and waves was God. Although the disciples had witnessed many miracles, they panicked at the storm. They were sailors or fishermen, so they knew what could happen. What they did not know was that Christ could control the forces of nature. Now, he wasn't telling the disciples they had no faith, but the faith they had maybe wasn't as strong it was deficient. It was not as strong or as clear as it should have been. We have stormy times in our lives when we feel that God can't or won't help us. When we truly understand who God is, we begin to realize that he controls not only the storms of nature, but the storms of our lives. The power that Jesus used to calm the storm can also help calm the storm of the problems we face. God is willing to help us if we only ask him and let him into our hearts. Never discount the power he has or the love he has for us. To close, I've kind of paraphrased Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, and ever present to help in troubled times. The Lord Almighty was with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. God is our refuge and strength, ever-present help in trouble. We will not fear though the earth changes. The mountains may crumble and the seas roar, and he lifts his voice and the earth melts. He says, "Be still and know that I am God." Amen.